now I have it all on the computer, and I'm starting to work on it again.
Oh, cool. That's exciting.
And there's a lot more new players out there that I'd like to get involved. There's obviously still some very well-known guys like Jimmy Page. He'd be nice to have on there. But of the people that are on it, I mean, I have Eddie Van Halen, Brian May, Steve Morse, Steve Vai, Albert Lee.
Hi guys, Matt from Guitar World here. We are at Guitar Summit 2025 at the Master booth with Dweezil Zappa.
Hello.
Dweezil, absolute pleasure. Thanks for taking the time to speak to us.
Sure.
I mean, we're sat at the Marshall booth, so let's start there. Kind of what's your relationship with Marshall at the moment, and where does your kind of, your connection to the brand first begin?
Well, like most guitar players, every guitar player that I ever was inspired by played Marshall.
Yeah.
You know,
it was the amp,
Yeah, I mean, it's the sound of rock. It will always be the sound of rock. But you know, they have a lot of things that they've made over the years that I wasn't familiar with. They, a few months back, had reached out and said, hey, we have some stuff we'd like you to look at, and maybe you want to come to the factory.
Nice.
So it was a fortuitous bit of timing because I had been doing a concert with the Metropole Orchestra in Holland. So I was able to just go from there to the UK. And what I was able to do was go do the factory tour and then also play like 15 different amps that they had from their museum vault. You know, so like new stuff, old stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Because they have one of everything they've ever made.
Wow.
And
spoiled for choice to play with that.
Yeah, so I was able to listen to a lot of different things.
Okay.
And what I found was that it doesn't matter what year, what model, there's a consistent sound that exists within the Marshall.
Yeah.
It's like a signature thing where certain guitars just do exactly what you want when you put them through a Marshall. And one of the cool things is the way that it cleans up when you turn the volume down.
Far responsive.
So what I found when I did this testing and we did this video, this YouTube video, all of the amps consistently were very, very good. So it kind of removed the argument that only the old ones are any good.
Sure, yeah.
You know, there's going to be people who will disagree, but my experience was that I could get a good sound with the old ones, the new ones, anything they put in front of me, I could get a good sound.
Yeah, okay.
And I just really appreciated that it was consistent, you know? And so after doing that, they invited me to do some other things here or there and just like give them feedback on things that they're up to. So this Guitar Summit was something they thought, you know, maybe we want to come check it out. And I hadn't been to it before. So
oh, cool. First time, is it? Oh, nice. So in terms of the amps themselves, are there like particular models or kind of variations that you prefer, or is it
I, of course, like the Plexi stuff. You know, it just, that's what most of my favorite players always used. You know, my dad used the Marshall Majors at one point, you know, before there was PA systems, you had to be very loud on stage. But he had different electronics in his guitar so he could get even more gain because the guitar was hitting the amp harder instead of preamp gain. But my experience has been that, you know, there's the classic stuff is always what I prefer, but there's other versions of things that I didn't even know they made. Like one of the newest ones is this JCM 900 Studio, like a mini. And when I looked at it, you know, they said, "Hey, do you want to try that one?" And I said no, because it done, the look of it wasn't inspiring. And so that's one of these things as a guitar player that, you know, we would all hate to admit, but visually, if it doesn't catch your eye,
you're not gonna,
you're not really gonna connect with it. But I said, well, I should hear it anyway. So I plugged it in, and it actually was one of the better and easier amps to play. So that's one of those things where I would then say to people, I say, look, looks can be deceiving.
Don't judge a book by its cover. Give it a go.
So you got to give it a try if you're looking for an amp that is versatile and has a lot of if you need it, but still cleans up. So I was surprised
Okay.
that it was as good as it was.
Because you've been doing quite a lot of kind of digital versus analog kind of tests on your YouTube channel as well. I remember you did the Eruption thing where you played it for a fractal and then for like a tube amp.
Yeah.
And what inspired that experiment in the first place, and what did you kind of learn from it?
Well, the thing about modeling is that it's a really, the technology is getting better and better by the minute. And I like it because it's easier to make a lot of different sounds, especially complex sounds, store them, make them guitar specific, preset specific. So the technology is beneficial for touring, but it's also great for recording and for all kinds of stuff. But a tube amp is also a great thing when you find the right one and you just really connect with it. You can play, you can really dig in and play a certain way. So I think it all just depends on what you're trying to do. But knowing how to use all the tools is a good thing to do.
Are you find you're leaning more towards the other, or are you very much just embracing?
On my own tours where I'm playing my dad's music, it's easier to use the modeling stuff because I can make things very song specific, guitar specific, and I can rearrange the order of the sounds easily. So it just seems to be the best fit for that. And it just continues to improve. I use the fractal, but there's so many different versions of all that stuff.
Yeah, so many brands are doing it now, aren't they? It's quite competitive. I mean, in terms of the other gear you're playing, you had your Shabat signature come out. Kind of how did you design that? What are your must-haves when you're thinking about a guitar that you want to play?
Well, growing up, of course, I was inspired by Van Halen and that sort of like modded Stratocaster. So this was kind of a throwback to like the feeling I had when I started playing when I was 12. You know, and it's a really well-balanced Stratocaster. You can get any kind of Strat sound, but you can also get that super Strat rock kind of vibe, which is fun.
That's cool. So, I mean, you hinted at kind of your background and your growing up and, you know, being surrounded by all these guitar greats. Was there a moment when you thought, okay, I want to do that as well? Or was it always just like a thing that you were going to do?
I mean, I always was inspired by it. I wanted to get really into playing guitar well after meeting Edward Van Halen when I was 12. But, you know, how to keep it going for a lifetime's worth of work. It's very challenging to do that, I mean, even at this point in time.
What would you say was the biggest thing you learned from growing up in that environment?
My dad basically said, you know, if it sounds good, it is good. And if you like it, that's all that matters. You know, so you're never really going to be able to please everybody, and you just wouldn't drive yourself crazy trying. So, I think the best thing at this point, especially for people that are just getting into like trying to make a living playing music, is you need to be able to develop a relationship with your fan base where they feel like it's a reciprocal relationship, and you can count on them to want to keep coming back for more. You know, so a good way to look at it is if you just looked at the numbers. Like if, let's say your goal was to make $1 million, everybody thinks of it as, oh, well, I got to make $1 from 1 million random people. It's hard to reach 1 million people and make them want to spend anything. You'd be better off trying to get 10,000 people want to spend $100. And it's easier to get over time an audience of that number than it would be a bigger number. And that's the challenge is a lot of people don't want to think of the smaller number because they think, well, that means not enough people like it. But if 10,000 people want to spend $100, that's the same $1 million.
That's the goal. You
know, so it's, I feel like they need to change their perspective and look at it as building a relationship with a smaller group that wants to keep coming back and do something cool.
Speaking of making people want to come back, are you working on new music at the moment? Are you writing?
I'm hoping that I'll be able to make some new stuff, but I've been mostly focusing on building up a bunch of videos for YouTube because I'm not touring as much as I have in the past. So between now and maybe like October of next year,
Okay.
I'm probably going to be home just doing projects
Nice.
where I have concert videos that we're going to finish editing and doing the mixing for. So not necessarily brand new music, but definitely brand new performances of me playing some of my music, some of my dad's music, some other music. So a lot of that stuff will end up on my website, but also on YouTube.
Cool.
You know.
I wanted to ask if you've got an update about your like mega ambitious. What the hell was I thinking? Yeah, what's the latest on that?
Yeah, so that thing is it's still a work in progress. And the reason it's been a work in progress is that it started on analog tape and it had a couple of problems.
Right.
And so the problem was that it was on these bigger reels, and as it got closer to the end of the reel, there was a slight speed up of the reel.
Yeah.
So what you don't perceive right away when you listen to it, it's the pitch is changing as it continues to get to the end. So if you wanted to overdub something, it would never be in tune. So you'd have to re-record the guitars. The drums would stay the same because you're not going to notice pitch. But anything else that you wanted to overdub to, you'd have to re-record, some of that stuff. So that became a problem. We fixed some of that, moved it to a digital format.
Okay.
Then the digital format that it was on, which was these 3348 digital tape machines, started to erase parts of it without me knowing, because it would just, you would see the tracks go like this, and then suddenly they're just dropping off, and it was never put into record. Like it was like, then I had to fix that.
Yeah.
And
just one thing after another, it seems, in this project.
So we went to a different digital format, and then over a period of time, everything in the industry changed and it became DAW.
Yeah, of course.
So it's taken a long time to get the whole project now like into a computer system.
Okay.
I started touring a lot, so I didn't have time. So now I have it all on the computer, and I'm starting to work on it again.
Oh, cool. That's exciting.
And there's a lot more new players out there that I'd like to get involved in.
Ooh. Any names that you can?
Well, there's obviously still some very well-known guys like Jimmy Page. He'd be nice to have on there. But, of the people that are on it, I have Edward Van Halen, Brian May, Steve Morse, Steve Vai, Albert Lee.
Yeah. The names just, it's crazy.
Like 45 people on it already, but I probably could get another 35, 40 people of newer players.
Yeah. That'd be really cool. Because I was going to ask, who would be your kind of like dream collaborators that you could work with, either in that project or elsewhere?
Well, there's definitely a lot of good players that are out there, newer players, like Julian Lage is one of my favorites.
Wow, cool.
But there's of all different styles. There's a ton of guys. There's this one guy, I can never remember how to say his name. He's a guitar player that plays like microtonal stuff. The style that he plays is like this. He's from Azerbaijan.
Oh, cool.
So it's this Arabic microtonal stuff, but it's super clean, and his picking style, he can play as fast as Yngwie.
Yeah.
But it's all these really weird timing phrases and microtones, so that stuff is fascinating. And I would like to get somebody like him as one of the players, because the whole project is about guitar from every different perspective, every style. And it's made in a way where it's like if you were listening to the radio and constantly changing the channel, the music would change. And so there's all these transitions and it morphs.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's a continuous piece of music that's 75 minutes long. And it has every style of music, but all done on guitar.
It's like a celebration of the instrument almost, of like what you can do with it. Do you have any highlights from kind of what you've recorded so far in it that you're looking forward to?
Well, the Van Halen stuff,
Yeah,
one of the coolest things about that is I went to 5150 and he played through the original Marshall, and he said, okay, so what do you want to do? And I said, I want you to play a solo that is a greatest hits solo.
Yeah,
all of your best licks in one solo. So it's about a 2-minute solo, which is long.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he rarely plays.
It was all in one take, just going through all of his.
Well, for the most part, but before he started playing, I said, okay, you got to get Ice Cream Man in there.
Yeah.
You got to get Mean Street in there.
Yeah,
you got to
yeah.
get Push Comes to Shove in there. And he had this like jazzy lick that he did on the Wildlife soundtrack that had this little weird thing. And I had to remind him of what that lick was. I was like, certain things that I would ask him to play. He's like, why did you just play it? You sound just like me anyway, But it was funny because it was like the equivalent of like if you had your own toy Edward Van Halen, what would you make him play?
Yeah, just like push a button and I play this.
And so that solo is going to blow people's minds because he, on the fly, just connected. Like we had a list of like all these different licks, and he just
did them all in one go.
A way to put them on.
Oh, it's exciting to think about, isn't it, when it comes out? And
well, that too, the other cool thing about that was that when I was 12, he recorded the first thing that I ever did, which was called My Mother's a Space Cadet.
Okay.
And he showed me how to punch in. You have to play along, and then they punch in. So when he was playing on the What the Hell Was I Thinking, I was punching him in. So it was like the total
full circle
role reversal
kind of thing. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I mean, the really cool thing about your music and your gear is that you embrace different like approaches and different perspectives. Has that always been something that's kind of been driving you in your own kind of career? Like music?
I feel like it's just a natural progression to do that stuff. My dad was always like that with stuff, whether it was writing music or the way he recorded it or what he was playing through. It was always some new element of discovery.
Yeah.
So that just seemed normal
to
approach things that way.
Are there any like new techniques that you're working on, new kind of areas that you want to?
I'm always trying to do new stuff. I'm finding that if I can do things that are just left hand only, if I can get my hands more accurately going to the right place, then the right hand follows better, but I can also avoid the right hand and get some different kinds of dynamics from just left hand only. So that's been kind of an interesting part to put into it. But I'm also trying to learn some different picking techniques. And I'm not very good with like the hybrid stuff. I'd like to do that better. But
it's always a journey, isn't it, learning the thing. So for the rest of the year, what are your priorities?
Probably mostly trying to finish some concert stuff and some YouTube videos.
Nice.
I did a video recently that's almost done where I test out every Jimmy Page amplifier. He's got a Sun Dragon amp lot. So I go through each of those, show what they do in different situations.
That's cool. What encouraged you to pivot to the kind of YouTube stuff? Because I mean, nowadays, guitarists, they kind of have to have that online presence, don't they? Is that something that you like consciously wanted to do as well, or is it just like a necessary
thing? I like that kind of content anyway. If I'm going to watch that stuff, I might as well make some of that stuff. The stuff that doesn't seem to be happening. I have my own perspective on it, so it might as well, be a focus.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for your time, Dweezil. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks, man. Cheers. Take care.